It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Nation TV. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Nation TV. And we're coming to you live from CB Gitty. It's the Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
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 It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. Hey everybody, welcome back to yet another Gitty Gang Show. I'm afraid the intro there, hopefully you didn't get anybody's hopes up too high about our Glenn Watt being back. See, it's not. But anyway, that may in fact be the last time that intro gets run. Next week for the Irish show that we're doing, we'll probably just do a cold open, and then beyond that, who knows? But yeah, so a little blast from the past there. So we've got a good show lined up for you this week. I'd like to thank Danny Woodman for joining me on stage here. We got Mr. Nick Lanciano back there behind the producer's desk. Not sure if he has his camera on as of yet, but he's back there, trust me. Because if he wasn't, I would be, and there he comes. Look out, people. Woo! Got a floating beheaded Nick out there. Well, thank you all for joining us today. We've got a good show lined up for you. At least we hope so. We've got a video, speaking of Glenn Watt, who we bid farewell to last week. We have a tribute video that was put together by Walt Davis and Del Puckett during this past week, and we're going to run that for you. Have your box of tissues handy, people. That's all I'm going to say. We also have a video that our good buddy Louis LaManna sent in for us, showing some of his advice, some of his methods for making use of drills when building cigar box guitars. As most of us who have built one have learned, you know, the drill is an important tool to have in your tool bag for tuner holes and screw pilot holes and all sorts of different things. So we always like to see folks sharing their advice, sharing their info on how they make the best use of the tools they had. A little bit later, in the third half of today's show, Danny's going to be singing a song for you, not an old-time song, not a train song, a little bit more modern.
Yes.
Who wrote that one?
Well, it was written by, I forget the lead singer, but it was a group called Indio, but it was popularized by Eddie Vedder.
Eddie Vedder?
Eddie Vedder.
And the name of it?
Hard Sun.
Hard Sun.
It's a song for the Mother Earth.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We've also got going to tell you about a couple of new auctions I just got up there today for a grab bag and a guitar on eBay. We're going to talk about the future of the Gitty Gang Show, what you would like to see, and there's going to be a corner of sorts, tentatively entitled "Not Corner."
Not corner, guys.
Not what corner?
Not, yeah. We will come up with a better name if you have another name for it, but I
Clicks
will.
with Nick? No.
Yeah.
I don't know. Click, snaps, photos, you know, candid shots. No,
Maybe.
all right. Sorry. All right, and a few other good things. But first, a couple of tidbits. Just wanted to give, hey, Kenny Lee Burgess out there. Who else we got popping in out there, Danny boy?
Well, we've got, no, I just saw Nick's name.
Nick Lanciano
Yeah,
tuning in.
yeah.
I'm in the comments. Wait,
Hey-o.
that's kind of meta.
Martin
isn't it?
Tober,
Marty Talbert.
Kenny Lee Burgess, William H.
Good to see
Sneed.
Kenny Lee pop in out there. William Sneed, yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Capato. Nick
Nick
Snook.
Snook.
Nick Snook there. I think that might be a good.
It's better than Nookie with Nick.
Yeah.
Somebody back along while you were talking
Maybe.
asked why I look so different.
Why?
I buzzed
does he
my
look
beard
so
very short,
different?
and this weekend I'm probably going to get my hair cut.
Freshly shorn. Sure
yeah,
he is.
that time of year,
And I gave him a giddy hat, so it's
Yeah,
it's like
that
a whole
too.
new Danny over here. Frank Edward Forrester out there, Mike Christ, Mary Molinelli McLaughlin, who I assume is sitting next to our own Frank Lanford down there in Florida, possibly. Good to see you two tune in. I've been missing you at the sessions, so Before we go any further, a couple of updates. Update 1, my mandolin songbook, Celtic mandolin tablature songbook. I'm working my way through 50 songs, converting them from cigar box guitar, 3-string tab, to mandolin GDAE 4-string tab. And I realized today, you know, GDAE tuning, I was like, how could you refer to GDAE tuning as the Australian tuning?
I was just going to say, that's how it's what you read my mind, that's how I remembered it.
Because if you try to sound out GDAE, what do you get?
Good day, mate.
Good day! But not particularly associated with Australia. But anyway, out of 50 songs, I am on song, I just finished song number 39, and fixing to do the final 11, hopefully in the next couple of days. The next one on the docket, I believe Shaq Collins always asks for, and it is 7 Drunken Nights is the next one I get to convert. I came home on a Sunday night, or Monday night, starts on Mondays. Drunk as drunk could be. Anyway, I'll be working on that. See Shane's spiel out there. You may have seen a couple of posts. We didn't go too wacky with it, but Shane was up here at Giddyville for the first half of this week, through Wednesday morning. And he and I did a lot of brainstorming, kicking ideas around, came up with a whole slew of new things to help define the future of the Gitty Gang Show, the future of CB Gitty and Cigar Box Nation. This whole movement that Shane started 25-ish years ago, you know, where does it go from here? How do we keep it growing and thriving? Go ahead.
Oh, of course.
You got to
Shane,
meet him.
Yeah, I got to meet him. He brought down the house at Kara's.
He came to the Irish session Sunday night and showed him how you use a microphone, by God. He just, everyone was in awe, like, hey, this guy's actually good. No, I'm just kidding. Didn't do any Irish numbers, but he did a couple of bluesy things and old New Orleansy folk songs. So yeah, that was great. It was good to have him up here. Shane, I think some folks are saying, and I got a message from Keith Rierick, I think yesterday, that there's some issues on cigarboxnation.com, the mothership site. Unfortunately, we don't have direct control over how that site works on the back end. You know, it runs on a platform, and we just pay a monthly fee to have that be a part of it. So we'll get a ticket filed, and hopefully they'll get all that sorted out as soon as possible. They always have in the past. Issues pop up, and then they go away. So, oh yeah. Jimbo Bird asking if Cigar Box Nation has been here 25 years. Not exactly. The nation itself, that idea, that term, the logo, you know, the raised fist holding the guitar logo and the star. Shane came up with all that, well, I guess almost, you know, a little over 11 years ago, at the end of 2008, early 2009. So that's where that all came from. Keith says maybe time to think of moving the nation. It's a lovely idea.
A lot of work.
Oh my God. It would take a team of people a long time to move all of that content in an effective way and convert it. So unfortunately, in a lot of ways, we're kind of stuck with what we got, and it is what it is, and we'll make the best of it. All right. So just quickly, a couple of things. Just earlier today, this morning, I created 2 auctions on eBay, and I posted one of them on the Gitty page on Facebook and one of them on the Nation page on Facebook. The one on the Gitty page is this box here next to me, which just looks like a large flat rate box, but it happens to weigh about 16 pounds because it is chock full of guitar parts and goodies. Ukulele fretboards.
Minus one set of
Minus
strings.
one set of strings, folks. Don't worry. I even threw a piece of ebony in here. 3/16 inch Macassar ebony. I don't even remember where I picked this up. Ready to be turned into bridges, nuts, sound hole covers, whatever. But there are ukulele fretboards. There's 2 spun old low reso cones, a brass one, a copper one. There's an aluminum Atchison cone, at least one of our hubcap paint can lid cones, tuners, bridges, pickups, all sorts of stuff. And it's what I call a grab bag box. Grab bag box.
Grab box.
Started the auction on eBay at 99 cents. It goes for 5 days. A lot of good stuff there that you have the opportunity to get at a pretty darn good price, depending on how high the bidding goes. But it's at least $250 worth of stuff on there, including this set of strings, which is now back in the box. So that is now live. The second auction is for this. This is a 6-string electric guitar built by Farley Andreessen a few years ago here in the Gitty shop. It uses a pre-made Telecaster style neck, beautiful rosewood and maple, truss rod in there, nice low action. And the body is what really is cool about this guitar. It's made from reclaimed American chestnut with the live edge here. And the cool thing is on this live edge, see these marks?
Mm-hmm.
Those are from the original, when they were shaping this log 200 years ago when the barn was built, that it comes from. They were using hand tools, the old adzes and mauls and axes, you know, the stuff they used to shape and smooth wood. Well, some of those marks are still visible on this live edge portion. There's wormholes in here where worms and different things ate into it. The tree that that the timber in the barn came from, so the barn built 200 years ago, we counted the lines, the growth rings in that timber, and that tree was at least 200 years old. So the tree started growing around 400 years ago. Turns out 400 years ago this year, the Mayflower sailed from England for the New World. That's when this tree started growing. So absolutely one of a kind. I started the bid at 50 bucks. There's no reserve on it. I plugged it in, the electronics work, it plays well. It could use a full setup and adjustment, but pretty cool guitar.
Probably new strings after they've been sitting on there.
Yeah, those strings have been on it since it was built. So, the other one that I was going to auction off, the one with all the different pieces of wood laminated together, actually Rob Roble put a behind-the-scenes bid in on that and got it all set up and fixed up. I think he put a new pickup in it.
That guitar was sweet.
Yeah. So, hate to see it go, but it ain't doing a darn bit of good hanging on the wall here at CB Gitty. It needs to be out in the world being played, making music, being enjoyed, and being seen. So, letting it go there. All right. So those auctions are both live. I think they're both 5-day auctions, so they'll go through, Wednesday? Something like that. Okay. Well, Elaine Vachon's out there. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Anyway, I'm going to do a bit of brewing with Elaine's husband Dave tomorrow, making some mead, homemade mead, using some honey, local honey, and some peaches that grew on a peach tree in my backyard last year. So anyway, now I've been delaying a little bit. Maybe you could tell. We've got the video we're going to run for you. It's a tribute to our dear friend Glenn Watt, put together by Walt Davis and Del Puckett over the past week. And yeah, here you go.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind. Hang it on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoo some memories and desk in our trial. But for what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you have the time of your life. time of your life.
Greetings, friends and fellow cigar box guitar enthusiasts. Del Puckett here with a heartfelt shout out of gratitude to my hero in the faith, Mr. Glenn Watt. Glenn, thank you so much for your years of encouragement and inspiration. I want you to know that you will truly be missed. I've been at this gig for over 4 years now, and I want you to know, sir, that it was really you who really got me going in and out of the gate. So seriously, man, you've meant a lot to me over the years. In fact, I'm wearing my commemorative Watt swag. But seriously, sir, I guarantee you that God's got something awesome in store for you in the future. So keep the faith, my brother. We'll see you around the internets. God bless.
Hey Glenn, it's your buddy Walt Davis here. Just want to say I hope you love that video as much as I love making it for you. I try to put as much love into it as you've shown us all these years. You're going to be sorely missed, man, but we understand things change, you're moving forward, and on behalf of Ben Gitty Baker, Del Puckett, myself, all the Gitty gangsters, everybody out there in Cigar Box Nation and beyond, we're going to miss you, dude. So with that being said, hope we cross paths again, brother.
Really, words. It's a good bill.
Well, that's some great stuff there. Thank you, both of you, Walt Davis and Del Puckett, for putting that together. It's certainly appreciated. I know all of you hope, and I do as well, that in time Glenn will re-engage with the cigar box guitar community, because really he added so much to it over the years. I saw a couple of people, Frank Edward Forrester, and a number of others point out, it seems like every day we'd hear that it was Glenn's videos that got me into all of this. Glenn's videos on YouTube, start building, start playing. He really had more of an impact than he would ever take credit for on this movement. And I hope someday he rejoins us in some way, not here at CB Gitty, but rejoins the community.
Well, if he did rejoin us here at CB Gitty, that would be
yeah,
awesome
that
too.
might be all right too. But yeah, until then, we wish them both the best. Wish we had another video to go to right now, though. I'll tell you that there. Oh,
well.
What do we got over there, Nick?
Well.
Slipping into, I don't know.
I just gotta get myself off the screen here.
Oh, sort yourself out there.
Yeah, well, why don't we go to an ad and we'll...
Here's what a video Shane put together this week. So just quickly, I want to put a call out to you, because a lot of you watch every week and have been for a good while. We'd like to hear what you would like to see the Gitty Gang Show be going forward. We try to keep it pretty loosely organized, sometimes a little too loosely organized.
5 minutes before the
Sometimes,
show,
oh
we're
crap,
like,
we got a
"What
show
are
to
we
do.
gonna do?"
But you know, in the larger picture here at CB Gitty, of course, this is a business, and we have a job to do, and that's to get your orders sent out as quickly as possible and to design new kits and products. Jason brought me a couple of prototypes just this week that I think will be popular. That all takes time and focus, and you know, the Gitty Gang Show here is fun. We all enjoy it, and I'd like to hear what you'd like to see more of, less of. Maybe, you know, a little format change if the every Friday at 2 set schedule maybe has become a bit stale. We could do more frequent, shorter broadcasts, kind of unscheduled. Basically anytime something interesting is going on here in the shop, in the admin or printing or publishing or anything here at Gitty, or if Shane is doing something interesting down there in his workshop or in his basement studio, we'll just go live and put it up there and maybe take a little break from the every week at 2 thing, and then somewhat less frequently, maybe once a month, do a more music heavy show like we did a couple of weeks ago, where Nick, Danny, and I just kind of had a little mini session here and passed the instruments around and
That was fun.
sang and played a few. So we're thinking about all these options, where to take it and what to do, and certainly don't want things to get stale or boring or, you know, too routine.
Well, realistically, we'd really like to grow it too. I mean, last year we've had, you know, pretty steady numbers.
That's the
people
thing,
watching,
you know,
but
the viewership, we appreciate each and every one of you very much, but, you know, the numbers aren't really going up. It's often the same folks every week, and we appreciate that. Not in any way discounting how awesome that is, you know, but we got to look at all the hours in the week and how much we can devote to each.
Well, Michael, it's not a matter of boring you guys. It's a matter of we need to maximize what we do with the show.
And we can't just get up here and wing it every
Yeah.
week. And
It's
I
not-
ain't
it's
gonna
no
lie.
longer
There's been a bit of
sustainable.
that since Christmas. It's been, you know, more and more winging and less pre-planning. Because to be honest, there's a lot. We're running with a tighter crew here at CB Gitty, so there's a lot more to be done on the business side. So we're taking a look at all that. Sending you know, your comments here on the show. Certainly we'll read through those and take things to heart. Longer ideas or suggestions or comments, you could email maybe to support@cbgitty.com, and we'll take a look at all of it. So
And you use the tagline. If you email, please use a tagline, Cigar Box's TV ideas, or something that's easily grabbable and searchable. Just, it'll help me in the long run.
yeah. And you know, you can be a part of this too. If some of you who are a little more prolific with your own video making and such, not to, you know, point any
Del-
fingers at Del
Sorry.
or Louie or Portness or any, you know, we've been running a lot of your stuff already, but a regular weekly segment or bi-weekly, like, you know, content we can count on, so that putting a show together isn't as much.
Speaking of Louis, we got a video for him.
We do. It's coming up in the third or fourth half of today's show. All right, so that's what we're asking for, your input and such for the Gitty Gang Show. To that end, you know, this week, last couple of weeks, to be honest, you know, we come on here and we try to sit here and smile and everything's happy, but you probably, unless you live under a rock, which seems pretty nice sometimes to me, but you've probably heard there's some stuff going on in the world, some pretty big stuff. Not entirely of a positive nature, but, you know, as I see all of this coming about, the Wall Street crashing and coronavirus spreading and all that, you know, it sucks, of course, but it's also an opportunity. You know, when things like that happen, kind of taking a step back, you know, from the outside world a little bit, and, you know, maybe even turning off a screen and a phone and a tablet now and again, and it's a great time to kind of reconnect with the people you love and the things you love to do. And of course, one of those is building and playing homemade instruments. So, you know, heading into all this, of course, supply chains are disrupted, and, you know, I'm doing my best to make sure we can keep parts in stock and all of the stuff that you love to use in building your instruments. So all doing our best, but you know, not freaking out, not panicking, and maybe reconnecting with the things that really matter. Looking backward a bit into history, studying the history of folk innovation and music and all of that, and you know, taking some time to build more, play more, and you know, we'll get through this.
Because you never know when it could all.
You never know.
When it could all be gone.
Make
you
the
know?
best of every day you got, by God. That's all you can do. And buy some canned goods.
Yes, yes.
All right, so, you know, the motto, hard times make great music, is never been more true, in my opinion. And we're probably going to see some proof of that in the days ahead. So, you know, play music, write music, you know, come up with your own songs, build instruments to play them on. Shane says, blow up your TV and move to the country. Well, Glenn Watt beat us on that, didn't he? Because he's moving up into the hills of eastern Tennessee, away from everything. So, yeah, good stuff. So, Nick, nothing heavy cut, huh? But it's now time for This Is Not What Corn Bear. But it's Nick's Nook.
Nick's Nook. Yeah. Okay. So, here we go. Where is it?
I don't know.
So
Make
we've
sure
got a
your
couple
mic's
of.
turned up.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're up. All right, go with it.
We've got a couple of submissions this week, and it turns out. What?
Shh, nothing. You're doing great.
We've got a couple of submissions here, and I've taken over some of Glenn's duties with the customer gallery, which you can submit your own builds at cbgitty.com/customer-gallery, I think.
That sounds right.
But it's right on the main page, and you know, you're familiar with Walk Hunter, so I'm going to get right into it. This one is from Alan M. And today's it kind of turned out that a lot of them are license plate builds. This one...
A theme emerges.
A theme! This one, he says, built for a guy who does graphic design for racing cars. Hence this slightly automotive look. Wait, is that the right one?
Yeah, that looks fancy.
This is Alan? Yeah.
This is where we'd usually yell at Nick. But it's not the right
The inline jack is wired with cables scrounged from a vibration transmitter, and it comes out an old aerial mount, and it's held to the body with plumbing saddles. Southbound Stringco strings running over a last-minute adjustable bridge and piano key nut. 2 single-coil pickups wired in series and placed for looks. The whole thing is finished with boat varnish and took several months of weekends to build. So that's a great. I really like the. I've never seen a Prince Edward Island license plate.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But there's some nifty things going on in that one. The next one up is from Glenda H. This one's kind of small, so bear with me. As you see, she took an old Jack Daniels box and turned it into a 3-stringer. She's using one of our electric Delta pickups and made her own pickup rings. She's doing a mandolin tailpiece, which are very popular for tailpieces. She's got a rail runner bridge on there, obviously volume and tone knobs, and it's just a really cool looking guitar. The aesthetically pleasing and all that. Looks like she's got a maple fretboard on there, and then the Telecaster cutout headstock using some of our black Tombstone tuners.
Yeah, buddy.
The next one up is from Kenneth B. He used our license plate kit to great effect. He went the normal neck that comes with it, and I think that's red oak, but he made his own neck. And then you'll see here in this next picture, he inlaid on the fretboard, or painted on the fretboard, Mississippi Blues. It's really cool aesthetic. And then he used the box from our kit for the body and all the rest of the parts there. Yeah, so...
Well, that, you know, those license plates we include with that kit are Mississippi license plates, birthplace of the blues, America's music. So continuing that up the neck, taking a design element and continuing it, that's what these kits are all about. Blank slate, make it your own.
Next up, we've got Curtis H. Only one picture for this, a really nicely done picture. He said, my son said he wanted a cigar box guitar. he started looking around to buy one, and he saw a few license plates. Well, and he thought he'd like the look, so he'd had a couple of spare plates, and he was able to complete this project with what tools he could access. He says it's not perfect. It looks great, and it won't be his last guitar. Really nice. It looks like he's built the box himself. Really nice looking guitar there. And I believe second to last we've got Michael S. And this one's real cool.
Wow.
He says his father has a really nice garage in Maine where he builds classic cars. This was inspired by memorabilia in that garage and now hangs on the wall inside. And you can see the diamond plated on the headstock. The whole box is quite cool.
The pipes out the side. I was noticing that.
Cool.
They shoot flames.
The tuners are from CB Gitty, and the other parts he's been buying us from a while, and we support his habit. So, Michael, thanks for your submission. This guitar
Is that actually a uke?
Uh,
It looks like one of our ukulele necks almost.
almost. It might be.
I think that's a ukulele. My God.
A ukulele with flaming pipes.
Yeah, I couldn't
Like Kiss
quite
guitar. Like one of Kiss's
tell, but you know what?
guitars.
Yeah, that is one of the ukulele fretboards.
I may be slow, but I see things sometimes.
And then last up was yet another license plate guitar. This one was from Corey B. He made the box. He used he built it for his father-in-law. He used poplar for the neck, walnut fretboard with maple inlay fret markers. The cool thing about this, though, is it looks like he used a metal spatula as a tailpiece, which is kind of cool. And then he's got his headstock, which it looks like he used one of our templates. He's got a nice laminate headstock on there with mocha perloid tuners. And then you just see here the back of the box. It just looks like it's... I don't know if he built it for this build or it's just something he had lying around, but it's a really cool build. And that's it for...
Bum, bum, bum. Somebody suggested I play it backwards. They think I'm a lot better at this music stuff than I am. That was not it backwards. So yes, thank you for submitting those. And Nick, thank you for... I didn't ask him to put that together. He just did it on his own initiative, and cool to see. I wanted to say about that tailpiece on that last photo that he showed, a spatula. A regular stainless steel kitchen spatula repurposed into a tailpiece. Shane, I think he posted it earlier this week, showed a short video of a tailpiece that Marty Tauber used on an Uncle Enos banjo build that he did a while back, which was a piece of a coffee can lid repurposed. Tailpieces are sometimes kind of not an oversight, but they're kind of sometimes not used to their full potential decoratively or design-wise. You know, you throw a hinge on there, which works great, or a real conventional tailpiece or whatever, but you can get creative and use so many different things, basically as the string anchor. You know, what to anchor the strings to down here at the bottom end of the instrument. You can really... people have used forks and old spoons and just all sorts of cool stuff. You can really get creative with that tailpiece and add a very unique and distinctive element to your build. That, you know, we sell quite a few tailpieces here at Gitty. This is one we cut on the plasma, and they're awesome. Not downgrading that, but yeah, you can make your own and do some cool things with it. How about Louie's video? We got a video from our good buddy Louie Lamanna showing some of his drill using tips and tricks. We're going to run that. Come back, I'm going to show you a quick trick of my own, and then Kim Starling's going to mosey up on stage, and Danny's going to lead us in a song.
Why is there a Gitty ad on your Vice? Because it's time for Gitty Advice. Hi everyone, Lou Lamanna here in my homemade instrument building workshop, and today we're going to talk about holes. Now, this is not a drill. Using one of these to determine what size hole to drill involves complicated math, converting decimals to fractions, who needs it? We have enough math. I haven't had to use those yet. Instead, I use this. This is a drill gauge. It's metal. You can get it for a couple dollars at any hardware store anywhere. And this is probably the most indispensable tool in my whole workshop. You want to know what size hole to drill for a screw? And just pick a random screw here. Okay, we find whichever hole that this screw goes in, and we'll go all the way through, 7/32. We go 2 sizes smaller to 3/16, and I know if I drill a 3/16 hole, this screw is going to go in snug. Smaller screws, that comfortably goes through an 1/8 inch hole. We go 2 smaller to 3/32. 3/32 is the size hole for that. You've got tuners. That's tapered, so how do you measure that? Well, you just put it through here until you find, and that goes in a 25/64. If I drill that size hole, that'll be perfect. The next size smaller, it's too small. The next size bigger, it wobbles too much. So that's the right size hole. So I would go into one of my drill boxes and find a 25/64 bit and drill my holes, and that will be the right size for that. You know, these are great. You can buy just the empty boxes of these and put your own bits in, or you can buy them. This is a 21 piece, which goes up to 3/8. This is a 29 piece, which goes all the way up to 1/2 inch by 1/16 of an inch. So that's very handy. And if you break a drill bit or one gets dull, you know you can just replace one and keep your fully stocked, and they're right at your fingertips. Your drill bits, you're not rooting in a coffee can and drill bits or a drawer or anything like that. We get the bigger bits. We use these, and I hope you use these. These are also very indispensable, and they are Forstner bits. This is a Forstner bit. They come in a variety of sizes, and you can use these to drill flat bottom holes or very smooth-sided holes, or if you have to expand a hole that's already there, this will grab it and drill it. What I did when I got these was I took a piece of scrap wood and I drilled a hole with each one of my Forstner bits, and I made a drill gauge for those. So that way, if I'm putting a sound hole in, I find out which size hole. There it is. That guy, 1 inch hole, that sound hole will go in very nicely. A little couple drops of glue on the outside or on the edge, and it'll be perfect. If you have potentiometers, okay, your volume and tone pots, if you put it in and there's not enough room, their box lid's too thick and you can't get the screw on, or can't get the nut on, in the washer. So what you do is you find a hole that this comfortably fits in without touching the capacitor or the wires. That's 1 1/8 inches. Now you already have your 5/16 hole that you found out it was too short. So you go inside the box lid, and you drill up to it. And that way it kind of countersinks it, so enough of it will stick out so you can get your nut and your knob and your washer and everything on there. And it's not going to be smashing on your wires or your capacitor in the back. So that's a tip for that. Strap tuners. Usually, once you find out what size holes to drill, I will take these completely apart as much as I can, so to just leave the strap. And then once you have just the strap, you can lay that right on your headstock and you can mark where to drill your holes, or you can even tape it down and drill right through them. And you know that when you put them back together and mount them, they're going to fit on there perfectly. That's something that's a little tricky. That's about it. You know, these drill gauges are indispensable and everyone should have them and use them. One little bonus tip I want to talk about is nails. Now, I know we don't use nails very often when we're building instruments, but sometimes you have to do some carpentry work, and if you're nailing pallet wood or if you're nailing up some wooden lattice, the wood keeps splitting on you. And you're like, how come it keeps splitting? Here's the secret. That nail has a point on the end, and that point goes between lines of grain on your wood, and it splits it apart so that the nail can go through, because that's the least resistance, and it splits the wood. So in order to not split your wood, take your nail on something hard, point side up, give it a couple whacks with the hammer and dull that. And that way, when you put it through, it's not going to split it, it's going to crush. And it's going to go in and it's not going to split your wood. Try it, you'll be amazed. But that's going to be it for now. So this is Lou Lamanda saying goodbye. And remember, have a good time. All right, this has been Gitty Advice.
Wow. Louie, thank you so much for that. That is
good
some
advice.
Awesome advice. Would you believe I don't own a drill gauge?
Yeah.
I believe it.
Believe it. I'm always telling people, oh, you need your digital calipers.
I believe it
to
now
see
that
what
you.
you're... Yeah,
I believe it now that you told me.
it's true. Anyway, I need to get one, clearly, or make
Using
one.
that's a lot easier than telling people to use the caliper.
Yeah. Isn't it? So anywho, Kim Starling's up here on stage. Welcome there, KS.
Thank you very much.
Lady K-Bomb. So here's a short bit of how-to tippishness from me. We had a post on the Friends of Gitty Facebook group this week. A person trying to use jumbo stainless steel fret wire as a 0 fret and was having trouble with the radius. Radius, of course, being the curvature that some fret wire comes with. We basically cut this, Danny knows this well, we cut this off of a large coil. Imagine this arc continuing all the way around at about 20 to 21 inches diameter. Cut it off the coil, package it, and ship it. So if you're putting this into a flat fretboard, you can have some issues getting it to stay down, that radius. Now, before I get too far into this, I'm going to show you how to straighten by hand fret wire that has a radius. But I want to point out, this particular customer was using jumbo stainless steel fret wire, which is about as tough and hard to work with as it gets. I don't personally recommend using stainless steel fret wire on homemade instruments. I don't use it. It tears up your tools. It's hard to work with. It's really just a big pain in the butt. But it does last forever. So, this is a piece of medium nickel silver fret wire. Cigar, that's why it's pretty much the Cigar fret wire that comes pre-radiused like this. So what you can do to straighten this, I'm going to come forward to the camera so you can try to see. Just using your fingers, back up a little bit, you just kind of put some pressure with your index finger, and it's easier to do with longer segments. So you can see here, just by, hopefully see, by running my fingers over it a couple of times, I took most of the radius out of this section here, whereas this section still has it. Then I could come back over here, trying to hold it straight up and down so that the tang is pointing down. You can just kind of gently work it and work that radius out of it. Now you don't want to twist it, you don't want to bend it, you want to make sure the tang is pointed down so that you're not introducing any sideways curvature into it. But you can remove a good bit of that radius and make it seat down better into a flat profile fretboard. Now, with stainless steel, as Sue says, it works better with longer pieces. If you've got a little 2-inch or 1.5-inch piece you've already cut off, that gets tricky. That gets tricky to try to flatten that. And if you're using jumbo stainless, you're probably not going to, if you can gently, just with your thumb and your forefingers, work along it, keeping the tang pretty much flat. You gotta be careful not to put a back bend into it, but you can gently and carefully work some of that out there as well. But if this were nickel silver jumbo, it would be a lot easier to take that radius back out and get it to stay down. Some folks on that comment thread were saying, just bang on it until it stays in. That can cause other issues. Trying to have your fret wire, usually we like to have a little bit of radius in it to help keep the ends down on a flat fretboard, but getting it fairly close to the profile you're installing it into is a good idea. I've actually even used pliers to very gently work radius out of it, and you can do that on smaller pieces, but it is easy to bend it more than you meant to. So yeah, buddy.
Did not know that.
Yeah. All right, so here's a song. Danny's going to be on the Frankenstein time clock guitar here. I'm going to be on a banjo, 4-string Irish tenor banjo that Farley and Dale built a few years back. Kim will be deploying her vocal abilities. And Danny will be leading us. All right, here we go. Gonna try and not screw these chords up again.
Yeah, I'll try.
No, me. You do fine. I'm the anyway.
Oh yeah, well, now that you said that, I'm gonna screw it all up.
Nobody will notice.
When I walk beside her, I am the better man. When I look to leave her, I always stagger back again. Once I built an ivory tower so I could worship from above. When I climbed down to be set free, she took me in again. There's a big hard sun beating on the big people in a big hard world. There's a big hard sun beating on the big people in a big hard world. When she comes to greet me, she is mercy at my feet. When I see her pin a chump, she just throws it back at me. Once I dug an early grave to find a better land. She just smiled and laughed at me, took the blues back again. There's a big hard sun beating on the big people in a big hard world. There's a big hard sun beating on the big people in a big hard world.
Try one.
When I go to cross that river, she's comfort by my side. When I try to understand, she just opens up her hand. Hey, 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 hey. There's a big hard sun beating on the big people in a big hard world. There's a big hard sun beating on the big people in a big hard world. Once I stood to lose her when I saw what I had done. Bound down and flew away the hours of the garden and the sun. So I tried to warn her, I'll turn to see her weep. 40 days and 40 nights, and it's still coming down on me. There's a big hard sun beating on the big people in a big hard world. There's a big hard sun beating on the big people in a big hard world. One more time now. There's a big hard sun beating on the big people in a big hard world. There's a big hard sun beating on the big people in a big hard world.
a fancy neck shake there at the end to get that. Well, anyway, we have managed to fill pretty much most of the better part of, at least the good part of, an hour. And we thank you all for joining us. All the folks on YouTube, just give a quick shout out to some of the folks on YouTube there, Nick.
Hi.
Hi, folks on YouTube.
No, I want to give out a couple of shout outs to Rick Stevens, always been joining us for these broadcasts. Greg Tiffany out there. Mike Adams. Let's see who else we got
Pure
out there.
Stereo out there.
What's that?
Pure Stereo 57.
I don't see Pure
He
Stereo.
always comments in after the fact. Love to see his
Bill
comments.
1973 1000.
Nice. Well,
Dan Mewborn.
thank all of you for tuning in, both on
thank you all.
YouTube and on Facebook. We appreciate you. All of the positive comments and feedback helps keep us going. So, just a quick reminder: next week, a week from today, starting at 2 o'clock, will be the Gitty Gang Irish Show.
Plan to stay later than usual.
Yeah, it's probably gonna run a little late, people.
It won't be the 3 hours.
Longer
of the 3
than
years
52
ago.
minutes, I'll tell you that. The three you see up here will be back. Tyler Foss will be joining us. Nick will come up and do a few of his favorites. It's going to be a good old time to get you all ready for the High Holy Day itself, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, which is coming up on the Tuesday following the Friday that is a week from today. Right. So, want to do an Irish one to play it out?
Oh, sure.
What do we got? We were just rehearsing last night. We got a list with like 80 songs on it, for God's sake. What's one we know?
I like when we did Drink Up the Cider.
Yeah? All right.
There you
Yep.
go.
This is one about the drinking of the cider. What do you want? Banjo? I'm just going to bring the house mics down a wee bit. This one tends to get a little loud. Yes.
Drink up the cider, drink up the cider, and for tonight well may I be. Well, knock the milkmaids over and roll them in the clover, and the corns have crud, and so are we. Drink up the cider, George, pass me round the jug. Drink up the cider, George, I have an empty mug. There's nothing like more cider to make your smile grow wider, and there's still more cider in the jug. Drink up the cider, drink up the cider, for tonight well may I be. Well, knock the milkmaids over and roll them in the clover, and the corns have crud, and so are we. Drink up the cider, George, you've been going far. Drink up the cider, George, you're getting quite a start. Thy cheeks are getting redder from charge house to cheddar, and there's still more cider in the jar. Drink up the cider, drink up the cider, and for tonight where may I be? We'll knock the milkmaids over and roll them in the clover, and the corns have cut, and so are we. Well, drink up the cider, George, get up off your mat. Drink up the cider, George, put on your great big hat. There's nothing like more cider to make your smile grow wider, and there's still more cider in the vat. Drink up the cider, drink up the cider, for tonight well may I be. Well, knock the milkmaids over and roll them in the clover, and the corns have cut, and so are we. Drink up the cider, drink up the cider, for tonight well may I be. Well, knock the milkmaids over and roll them in the clover, and the corns have cut, and so are we.
So that third verse there, I had to really act to know what it's like to have drank cider.
Yeah,
All right.
he's never drunk before in his
Never
entire
once
life.
a day in me life. No.
Only on
He's
the
a
show.
good boy.
Well, as I like to say, you know, this Irish music, you can't. It's difficult to play fully sober, or at least I've found. Anyway, thank you all again. We will see you next week for the Gitty Gang Irish Show. And can't wait. Thanks for... Oh, should we do the song?
Why not?
Probably do the
Up to
song.
you.
Turns out we got this here theme song that we do for this here show.
Well, it's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Station TV.